This is a K2 Storm Tracker weather alert.
Anytime there's a down wire, assume that it's alive.
Portland Fire and Rescue says 3 people are dead after getting electrocuted by a downed power line in northeast Portland. A 2-year-old survived. Police say a tree branch fell on the power line, causing it to fall in a car with people inside. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Steve Dunn.
And I'm Ray Caswood. We do want to warn you, this is an incredibly tragic story. K2's Emily Gersh is live for us in northeast Portland. Emily, what do fire officials say you should do if it happens to you?
Yes, Stephen, right. Well, Portland Fire and Rescue spokesperson Rick Graves says if you're in a car and a power line falls on it, to stay inside the car and call 911. Now, here's a look at this scene from earlier. You can see crews they were just here a minute ago working on the car. This red car is what we're looking at. It is missing some of the windshield, and it does smell like there had been burning going on out here. You can smell the fumes in the air still. Rick Graves says fire crews received multiple calls about this incident this morning, including that a car was on fire and a person was on fire. He says getting out of the car, though, is sadly what led to these 3 deaths. Fortunately, a 2-year-old was protected from the electrical current.
We have 3 confirmed deceased. We have 1 survived. They are on the way to the hospital.
Portland Fire and Rescue says they found 2 adults and a teenager dead outside of a car of an apparent electrocution. A 2-year-old somehow survived unscathed.
The wonderful news is the 2-year-old is in good condition.
Portland Fire spokesperson Rick Graves says a live power line fell on top of the car. He's now urging people to stay put in this situation unless your life depends on it.
If you're in a vehicle and a line comes down over the top of you and you don't have imminent danger as a result of something else, you do not have flames impinging upon you, and you are safe, use the emergency system so that professionals can respond and arrive and provide you a pathway of safety.
Graves also says if you happen to see a down power line on someone else's car, to use your voice or wave your hands to get their attention and not go near it. The identities of the people who died in this incident have not yet been released. We're live in northeast Portland. Emily Gersh, K2 News.
Yeah, devastating situation for those folks out there. Emily, thank you for that. Again, if you see a downed or sagging line, stay away and call 911 and your utility company.
Also, remember, lines do not have to spark to be dangerous. If you find yourself near a live line, shuffle away, keeping both feet in contact with the ground at all times. You should move at least 50 feet away, which is about the length of a school bus. You should then stay away from any trees or metal objects or water that might be touching the line. If a line falls on your car, stay inside your car until you can confirm with first responders that the line is de-energized. It is a good idea to talk with your family and friends about these safety rules as this storm continues and for the future.
Oh, several people are still unaccounted for today after an apartment caught fire in Gresham. The Gresham Fire Department says it sparked early this morning at a second-story apartment on Southeast 187th and Stark. The department's still working to find out if anyone was home when it happened. Neighbors told K2 they heard a loud pop right before it started. The cause of the fire under investigation.
The Portland metro area is thawing out tonight. This is a live look at downtown as temperatures climb above freezing to about 36 degrees. We may not reach the 40s until tomorrow. K2's live team coverage continues now as temperatures rise. More people are discovering broken pipes, or pipes are suddenly bursting. Joe English is on your side with ways to prevent or mitigate a flood at your home.
Christina Giardinelli is live in Salem for us, which is turning pretty slushy at this hour. We'll talk to her momentarily. Megan Allison just spoke with utility companies about how the ice has set back restoration efforts.
And we need to get to meteorologist Dave Selesky. Dave, things are finally warming up a little bit.
Yeah,
finally warming up. Now, if you're south of, say, Wilsonville, temperatures there are in the 40s right now, and they'll keep climbing for the rest of the afternoon going in towards the evening. Now, the big thaw has begun, but again, for the immediate Portland, Vancouver metro area, and especially areas east of I-205, it's a very, very slow process. Warmer and wet pattern is back in the forecast, and we are going to keep some lingering snow and some ice in the gorge, especially from Corbett east out towards Cascade Locks and Hood River for at least the next 24 hours. As a matter of fact, here's what's going on outside right now from up on top of the Unico US Bancorp Tower. Overcast skies out here. It's just 33 at this time. Again, there's the big factor. East wind still pulling some colder air down the gorge, only about 6 miles an hour. But again, until we see the wind's reverse direction become southerly or westerly, that temperature is going to stay parked down in the lower 30s for the rest of the afternoon going in towards the evening. On the coast, overcast skies, some light rain here. It's 50 degrees now from our live camera in Spanish Head. And then here you have the gorge. We've been seeing snow showers on and off throughout much of the day, holding at 23, the current temperature now up in Hood River at this hour. So there's still cold air trapped on the east side of the Cascades. Now we've got some rain here in Salem, rain in Woodburn for the immediate metro area, just dry and overcast skies. And you get out here east of Troutdale, we're still seeing a little bit of freezing rain coming down. And that's going to be a factor, I think, for the rest of the afternoon going in towards the evening hours. As a matter of fact, NWS is now saying they're not going to lift this ice storm warning for the gorge until about 7 o'clock this evening. Up in the Cascades, we do have a winter weather advisory. That's also in place until later on this evening. The Willamette Valley right now is on the dry side as far as no needs for watch or warning. In the meantime, temperatures so far for highs, just 33 for both Portland and Vancouver. Salem, nice, 46 degrees there, but look at the coast, 52 today for Tillamook, 50 for Astoria. Then you get to the east side of the Cascades and up here in the Columbia Basin, 22 was the high today so far in the Dalles, 18 for Pendleton. Meanwhile, in Central Oregon, Redmond did manage to see 48 with some south winds here, but still cold air pooled up here in the Columbia Basin could cause a headache going into late tomorrow night and going into early on Friday. Now, here's the hour-by-hour forecast. Again, still seeing southerly flow, still seeing some warmer air across the area, but again, still seeing some colder air here east of the Cascades. We get in towards late Thursday, we begin to see a little bit of an easterly flow coming down the gorge again, pulling cold air back into Metro Portland, which means a chance there could be another run of perhaps some freezing rain late tomorrow night or early on Friday morning before things finally get scoured out and we close the door on that Arctic blast coming in from the east side of the state. So in the meantime, your forecast tomorrow on the coast, cloudy skies, rainy and mild. Highs again tomorrow, back up in the 40s and low 50s. In the Willamette Valley, cloudy skies and rain and mild. High tomorrow for Salem, 45. There's a 44 Scappoose and 43 for Aurora. Now, up in the gorge in the Cascades, snow and freezing rain in the gorge. Snow level in the Cascades, about the 5,000-foot elevation, 32 for your high for Hood River. And then for central and eastern Oregon, cloudy skies with some areas of some rain or freezing rain. 23 and 24 for Pendleton, 34 and 36 the low and the high in Bend. Here's the 7-day forecast. So tonight, 36 for the low, up to about 40 tomorrow, then we cool back down again going into Friday morning. Maybe a shot of, again, some freezing rain in the gorge early in the day before things warm up into the 40s. Then we have 40s and 50s the latter part of the weekend and heading in towards next week. Back to you guys.
Dave, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Let's look at the power outage totals so far. PGE reporting more than 7,000 people without power tonight still. Pacific Power, more than 13,000 without power, mostly south of Salem and Eugene.
Clark PUD reports more than 2,000 people without power. Some of these companies had the lights back on for thousands of people, but were set back by the ice overnight. The utilities tell us they continue to bring in crews to address the outages. Some customers say they've been sitting in the cold since Saturday morning.
KATU's Megan Allison joins us live in southeast Portland. And Megan, what kind of damage are you seeing out there?
Well, Steve, there are just so many trees down. We're continuing to see storm impacts across our region. Behind me, there are still downed power lines tangled up into fallen branches. Today, I spoke with one woman who is now on day 5 without power and says she's never seen anything like this before.
It has been pretty bad.
Lilia Vega tells us she lost power at her Beaverton apartment Saturday morning. She just got knee surgery and plans to stay at home to ride out this winter weather. Vega says one of her neighbors lent her a propane heater, but now she's running out of propane.
My friend, who is 75 years old, she doesn't have any electricity either. She's just down the block from us. There's a young man who has terminal cancer who is out of power too. I mean, this has taken so long. I've never seen anything take this long.
Both PGE and Pacific Power made headway on outages going into Tuesday evening, faced another spike with the overnight ice, and progress continued as temperatures ticked up on Wednesday.
What would you say to those customers who have been without power since Saturday morning, who are wondering just how long they're going to be sitting in the dark here?
I just want to apologize on behalf of the company. I just want to say that Pacific Power understands, the inconvenience that you're facing because of being out of power for so many days and in such a cold weather situation.
Now, Pacific Power is hopeful that most customers will have power back on by tomorrow. PGE declined an interview, but staff there say right now they have about 1,700 personnel addressing the ongoing outages. We're live in Southeast Portland. Megan Allison, KATU News.
All right, Megan, thank you for that. And Portland Public Schools says it's still trying to figure out the status of school tomorrow. On Thursday, district says they'll make that decision later on tonight and that they will not make a decision that endangers the community. They've said road conditions have made it hard to assess bus routes in 11 of their school buildings. So far, the Corbett School District is closed tomorrow. Dufur School District also closed but operating remotely. Some other districts in the foothills or rural areas are delayed, and you can find a current list of closures posted on our website, KATU.com.
Our team coverage continues now with K2's Joe English, who's on your side, trying to help you prevent a flood inside your home or business.
Yeah, Joe, people are dealing with frozen pipes and burst pipes out there. What do they need to know right now before it actually is too late?
Well, what I'm told at the very top of the list is knowing where your water supply is coming from and knowing where to shut that off and how to shut it off. A lot of people aren't aware of that. It might be out near the street. It might be at the front of your house. If you live in an apartment, you need to have your landlord's phone number ready to call. And there's still time to do that because as we warm up the next couple of days, evidence of a burst pipe pretty likely to show up as flooding.
Flooding looked like this at the Dairy Queen in Sandy. Clackamas Fire responded as best they could to a broken fire sprinkler system in the ceiling. The City of Portland Water Bureau says there are signs to watch out for outside, the frozen ground buckling or water seeping out from the yard or street, signs that a water main may be broken.
We know it's coming. It's not a surprise. We have winter every year.
And you may have gotten through the deep freeze without burst pipes or flooding, but even over the next few days, that's when you might see the result of any freeze damage.
When it begins to thaw is when you're going to get the exposure or awareness that you've got an issue. You may be able to visibly see it prior to the thaw, and that could be advantageous to you if you do circle around your home and look and go, I see an obvious crack or rupture in this particular pipe, service residential water supply pipe.
The homeowner is responsible for pipes and any damage beyond the city or county direct water supply. That's why safety officials say you should know where your shutoff valves are, inside your home or outside closer to the source.
Well, the other things that you may have been doing already and just keep doing those is open up the cabinet doors around your sinks, leave your faucets trickling or dripping, and leave those covers on your outdoor faucets. Not that you're rushing out to take those off, but we're not warming up that fast, even though it does feel a little bit warmer out here. In Southeast Portland, Joe English, KATU News.
That's a surprise you don't want after all this. Joe English, thank you. Now to a storm tracker weather traffic alert. Stretch of I-84 between Troutdale and Hood River will not reopen today. That's what the Oregon Department of Transportation is telling us now. This afternoon, ODOT said there was still 3/4 of an inch of ice coating the road. They tweeted, "Mother Nature continues to win." The space from milepost 17 to 64 first shut down yesterday afternoon. ODOT says crews worked through the night to clear the stretch, but says freezing rain is still coming down, making the road too dangerous to reopen. Oftentimes, the gorge is the last area to thaw because of that east wind.
This just in, SR 14 is now closed in both directions in Washington due to some snow sliding. WashDOT says it was not an avalanche. The closure is from Washougal to the Hood River Bridge at White Salmon. With the closure of 84, that means the only way for people to get from Hood River to Portland is by going around Mount Hood on Highway 26. SR 14 is open to some local traffic. This morning's K2's Mike Warner captured the treacherous road conditions up close from the On Point Live Drive. It was very slick before sunrise when temperatures were still below freezing. By about noon, most roads were passable with all-wheel drive. The side streets continued to be slick. The highways are wet and clear. Of course, if you don't have to go out, staying home is still the best option.
That's always it. KATU's Wesley Ogle was at the scene of a serious crash in Vancouver this morning. Check this out. You can see the car crashed below a semi-truck. This happened at the off-ramp of 205 to Mill Plain Boulevard.
Well, like it always is on times like this, I've learned to listen to the weatherman, stock up before the event, and stay put during the event.
Salem residents listen to us. Officials there say most people stayed off the roads. On the 5th day of this winter storm, the city is finally thawing out.
KATU's Christina Giardinelli is live there now. Lots of water right now, right, Christina?
Yeah, you know, and it's not freezing water this time coming off my umbrella. There are no icicles. That is water. So, you know, good sign here. There are some parts of Salem that are thawing a little bit more slowly than others. But even in this neighborhood that was taking a little bit longer here up in the hills, it is still slush here. Look at my feet. This is slush, and the rain is melting all of this, you know, going downhill. So mostly water and slush at this point. But earlier this morning, the roads were still pretty treacherous. On day 5 of a winter storm, Salem is melting. School's out for the day, but sledding conditions are not the best. Roads, though, are still pretty dicey.
There's nothing but ice rocks out there, so every time you hit something, you know, it tries to throw you off the side of the road.
Doc Engel says knowing how to drive on them is key.
Four-wheel drive is good, but knowing how to use your transmission and how to run your gas pedal and how much RPM you want to give it, just enough power to get you up the road without sliding all over the place.
But water's running through the pipes, and residents like Darlene Mullen are ready for the warm winds after yesterday's freezing rain.
I was talking to my friend mid-afternoon, and within that 30-minute conversation with her, I had about 4 inches of icicles hanging off my deck railing. So it's so much warmer today. It's running around without a jacket on.
Marion County's emergency manager says residents in this region have been doing a great job at staying home and staying off those roads. And the good news, of course, is tomorrow they will likely be able to get back on those roads and get out of hibernation. For now, live in Salem, Christina Giardinelli, KATU News.
That'll be good for everybody. Christina, thank you. Well, Multnomah County has closed its warming shelters because temperatures have warmed up above their thresholds. County says during the peak of the storm on Tuesday, shelters served more than 1,200 people. That was a record for the number of folks served in severe weather shelters. The previous record was set in December of 22 with 1,000 people in one night.
TriMet's light rail service is still down. Shuttle buses are serving those routes. TriMet says most bus routes are still running. All of their buses have chains and are driving at a max speed of 25 miles an hour. The Max Blue line was running for a few hours yesterday before conditions worsened again last night. Once conditions improve, TriMet says the Blue line will be the first to come back.
We have this story just in now. The Beaverton School District has just confirmed they are closed tomorrow on Thursday. They say sidewalks and side streets are icy and several buildings are now damaged. Be sure to watch KATU News tomorrow morning for more closures and delays. And that's it for this digital edition of KATU News at 5 o'clock.
We do hope you stay with us on the air after tonight's NBA game for your latest weather conditions and local headlines. Thanks for joining us.